Thanks to the Secure Act, we have a new catchphrase for your retirement plan: long-term part-time employees. Are you an organization that employs part-time employees? If so, listen up. A new rule effective January 1, 2021 will require that any long-term part-time employees have the opportunity to save into a 401k plan. So let's break that down. First, who is a long-term part-time employee? That would be someone who works more than 500 hours but less than 999 hours for 3 consecutive years. Next, when does this take effect? Follow me here. The new rule is effective January 1 of 2021. So now is when we start tracking. Then it takes 3 consecutive years to determine if an employee is a long-term part-time employee. So January 1 of 2024 is the soonest we're going to see these long-term part-time employees enter a plan. So why does this matter? Many plans require that participants work at least 1,000 hours in a year to become eligible for the plan. These new rules are targeted to allow more workers access to employer-sponsored retirement plans, because studies show that if an employee has access to a plan through work, they're more likely to save for retirement. The flip side is, many plans may be looking at dual eligibility, where employees become eligible to contribute their own money under the plan under a different timeline than they become eligible for employer contributions, which just means more administration. Well, speaking of those employer contributions, what about those? Do these long-term part-time employees need to receive employer contributions? Not so. These long-term part-time employees just need to be offered to save their own money into the plan. If these part-timers do receive employer contributions, keep in mind that all periods of service, even those prior to 2021, are going to be counted for vesting purposes. And if your plan is not a safe harbor plan, have no fear. These new long-term part-time participants can be excluded for testing purposes. Well, what about 403B plans? 403B plans have universal availability requirements, which means that you generally have to allow all employees the right to contribute their own money to the plan, with really limited exceptions. So generally speaking, these new rules are not going to impact 403B plans. So now what? Now's the time to start keeping good records in accordance with what your plan document says. If your plan document says that you track actual hours, then track actual hours. If your plan document says you use equivalencies, then track equivalencies. I'll say it again, read your plan document. Speaking of plan documents, your plan documents, summary plan descriptions, and other plan communications like enrollment materials are all going to need to be updated. You're going to have until 2022 to amend those documents, so work with your retirement plan document provider on the necessary amendments. In an industry that loves a good acronym, I feel like LTPT rolls off the tongue pretty well. Drop your questions in the comments, and I'll do my best to respond based on the available guidance.